In this section, we're going to talk about parabolas. And you've graphed parabolas with like an x squared or a y squared or whatever. But in this format for graphing parabolas, we're going to think about a definition that's another locus of points or collection of points definition of this. And we have a focus, something that it wraps around, everything is focused on, and a directrix, which is a line. And if you pick any point on the parabola, this distance, I'll call it distance 1, is the same as this distance. So in other words, every point on this parabola is equidistant from the focus and the directrix. And we measure that shortest distance, so that's like a right angle from that straight line. So distance 1 equals distance 2. So that's good to know. We have this focus, so that means that this distance is the same as this distance. That's the vertex. So the distance from the vertex to the focus and the distance from the vertex to the directrix is this constant. And if we go straight across here, we also have this distance here. This is called the lattice rectum. So here are some things to think about for parabolas. This is straight out of your book. We know that we're going to have the vertex of these at that HK point, so that moves it around just like usual. This p-value, it's 4 times p. This p-value is the distance from the vertex to the focus and then also back to the directrix. So got all that. Notice it says n points to the lattice rectum. We've got k plus 2p and k minus 2p. So this whole thing is 4p. Like this whole distance is that, is that value right there. So that distance is that. And if you've got y squared, it's going to go left, right. If you've got x squared, it's going to go up, down. So pretty familiar stuff. So let's take a look. One thing that I like to think about is this distance is half of that 4p, since the whole distance, the entire lattice rectum is 4p. So here's some ways to think about this. I've got y squared equals 24x. So my vertex is going to be at 0, 0. Good with that. So 0, 0 is there. I know that 4p is equal to 24. So if 4p is 24, divided by 4, p is 6. So that gives me my distance from my vertex to my focus and my vertex to my directrix. So y squared, so it's going to be on its side, going left or right. P is positive, so it's going to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is here. If this is the point 0, 0, this would be the point 6, 0. So I know that this is going to wrap around the focus like that. My directrix then is back 6 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the line x equals -6. And now that distance is 24, right? P is 6. So this distance is 2 of those 6's, right? Half of that. So 12. 1, 2, 3. 12. I'm going to say about here. I may have counted it wrong, but notice that would be at the point 6, 12. And then if we zoom out a little bit here, it's also down 12 from there. Again, I don't know if I counted right, but we'll call this point 6, -12. And there's our parabola right there. So if I were to throw this thing into Desmos, looks like that right there. There's my point 0, 0. For 6, here's where my focus would be at 6, 0. My scale's 2 here. And notice it goes to this point 6, 12, and then 6, -12 as well. Okay, here's another one for us to consider. Y squared, so I know it's going to go left, right. It's got this -16, so that is my 4p value. So 4p is equal to -16. So p must be -4. So from 0, 0, wherever 0, 0 is at, it's going to go back 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my focus. I know it's going to wrap around it. My directrix would be this way then, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's x equals 4. And then it wraps around it. Since this is 4, that distance will be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like way up here. 6, 7, 8, way down here. Wraps around it. And if I zoom out a little bit, there it is right there. Now notice if x is squared, it's going to go up or down. -6, so it'll go down. Again, it's going through this 0, 0 point. 4p is equal to -6. So if I divide by 4, p is -3/2. So that tells me where that point would be. Be about here. That's the point 0, -3/2. My line then would be 3/2 this way. That's the line y equals 3/2. It's positive. Again, it's going to wrap around that, and it does. The total distance is -6, so half of that distance is 3, so 1, 2, 3. So this gets out to here and back to here. I could label those points. There's my sketch. So notice on this one, everything's just about the same with it. It's just now my center is at the point 8, 1. X is squared, it's going to go up and down. This tells me this is 4. It's positive, so it's going to go up. 4p is equal to 4, so p is 1, right? So this goes through the point 8, 1, wherever 8, 1 is at. I'm not going to try and graph it exactly. I'm just going to sketch it. 8, 1 looks like that. I'm going to turn off this background so I can just sketch it. It's going to go up 1, so my focus would be up 1 from here, which is the point 8, 2. And that means it would go over 2 from here, so it goes through this point. Back 2 from 8 is 6, still at a height of 2. Over 2 would be 10, still at a height of 2. Wraps around like this, and since that went up 1 to there, it will go down 1 to this y equals 0 as my directrix. Right? So you can read the center off of it, get those p-values, get the latus rectum, and know where everything else is at. Sometimes they come like this. So what we've got to do with this is, first off, fix what's written, because that should probably be a y. All right, so let's manipulate this. We want the y's on one side and the number and the x on the other. So I'm going to add 28 y to, and 208 to both sides. So I'm going to have 28y plus 208 equals, and I'll leave the x squared minus 8x on this side. And then now I'll complete the square over here. So half of -8, -4, so I need to add a 16. If I add a 16 to that side, I've got to add a 16 to this side to keep it balanced. So now over here I have x minus 4 squared. And that's equal to whatever 28y plus 208 plus 16 is 224. I'm almost there. Let me think about this. I could factor out a 28 from here. X minus 4 squared. Factor out that 28. That leaves me what? Y plus 8. And now it's in the form. X is squared. 4p is 28, so my p would equal 7. I know where the center is. It's at 4, -8. I got my p-value of 7. X is squared going up, so I know it's going to go up. I can sketch all my pieces from there. All right, that is parabolas. If you have any questions, message me or throw them in the forum.